Hey there, if you're gearing up for a big English exam, something like the IELTS, you probably know this feeling. You've got the grammar down, you can have a conversation, but you've just hit a wall with your vocabulary. Everything you say or write feels a little bit basic. Well, today, we're going to give you the tools to absolutely smash through that wall. Let me guess, does this sound like you? Every cool experience was good, every problem you faced was bad, and every single point you want to make is important, right? Look, those words get the job done, sure, but they don't really impress anyone. And they definitely don't impress an examiner who's looking for a higher level of fluency. Okay, just look at the difference right here. On the one hand, the trip was nice. It's fine. It tells me nothing really. But the trip was phenomenal? Now that paints a picture. It has energy, it has impact, it shows you really have a command of the language. This simple little word swap is the key we're unlocking today. So our first source for this is this amazing, but let's be honest, pretty intimidating list of 250 advanced words. When you just stare at a massive list like this, it feels impossible. You just think, how am I supposed to memorize all of this? Well, here's the secret. You're not. And that's where our second source comes in. It's a kind of secret blueprint that producers use to break down really complex information. We're going to borrow that strategic thinking and apply it to that giant word list. We're not going to memorize it, we're going to strategically absorb it into the English you already speak every day. All right, let's dive into section 1, upgrading your core language. This is all about taking the words you already use constantly and giving them a serious power up. So what we're looking at here is basically a direct upgrade path. Think about it. Instead of saying important all the time, you could say something is essential or crucial. Instead of just big, try enormous or vast. These aren't just about sounding fancy, they add precision. You know, an awful mistake feels so much heavier than just a bad one. And a captivating personality, that tells me so much more than an interesting one. So why does all this really matter? It comes down to this term right here, lexical resource. This is a fancy way of saying your vocabulary, and it's one of the 4 main things you're scored on in an exam like the IELTS. They're not just looking for you to know words. They want to see that you have a wide range and that you can pick the perfect word for the moment. And this chart just lays it all out, crystal clear. You can literally see the connection between your words and your score. If you stick with those basic words, you're probably going to hover around a 6.0. Start mixing it up with some varied vocabulary, now you're pushing towards a 7.5. But when you start using precise, sophisticated words, that's what gets you into that top tier, the 8.5 and above. This isn't luck, it's a skill you can actually build. Okay, on to section 2, putting words into practice. Because, it's one thing to see these words on a list, it's another thing entirely to actually use them. This is how we turn that passive knowledge into an active skill. And that producer's blueprint gives us this really cool technique for it. It's called a mini drill. Don't let the name fool you, it's super simple, but it's an incredibly powerful way to force yourself to use new words and make them stick in your brain for good. And seriously, the process couldn't be simpler. It's just 3 steps. 1, find a boring or overused word in one of your own sentences. 2, grab that list and pick a more powerful, more precise synonym. And 3, rewrite the sentence and actually feel how that one new word changes the entire impact. Let's give it a shot. Okay, here's a totally normal sentence. You've probably written something like this a dozen times. It's clear, yeah, but it's kind of flat. The words start and big are doing all the work, and they're just not very exciting. We can do way better. And boom, look at that. We just swapped start for launch. Immediately, the whole thing feels more dynamic, more intentional. Launch is one of those fantastic, precise verbs we pulled right from our list, and it makes the sentence sound so much more professional. Let's try one more. He thought about. Again, nothing grammatically wrong with it, but thought about is so vague. What kind of thinking was it? Was he daydreaming? Was he analyzing? We can be way more specific. And here's the upgrade, contemplated. This word is so much richer. It suggests deep, serious, quiet thought. It adds a whole layer of meaning that thought about just completely misses. That is the power of a precise vocabulary. And this little mini drill is how you build it, 1 sentence at a time. All right, section 3, your personal learning plan. So how do we put all of this together into a routine that actually works? We're going to apply that producer's mindset and create a smart, efficient game plan for you. Here it is, your blueprint. First, stop just staring at alphabetical lists. It doesn't work. Focus on function. Group words together by themes you'll actually use, like words for describing change or expressing opinions. Next, make those mini drills a daily habit. It takes 5 minutes. Always, always learn words inside a real sentence. And this last one is so important. Be realistic. Aiming to master 5 new words a day is so much better than trying to cram 50 and forgetting them all by tomorrow. So, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Success here is not about brute force memorization. It's about a smart, strategic process of upgrading the language you already have. It's about finding the weakest links in your vocabulary and swapping them out for stronger, more precise, and way more impressive ones. And that pretty much brings us to the end. So I'll leave you with a little challenge to get you started. What's the one overused, boring word that you're going to target for an upgrade today? Just start with one. That's how you get on the path to a higher score. You've got this.